Hey everyone, it is time for a week 4 update, and I just got something really exciting in the mail. It is a bunch of wallpaper, so let's open it up and see what we've got. So I went a little wild with the samples. There's a lot here, including some nice textured samples, which I'm really excited to see how these look in more utilitarian spaces like the butler's pantry. So I'm going to be hanging a lot of these samples up just to kind of get a feel for how they look in a space. This one is kind of at the top of my list. You can't really see the full pattern from this sample, but I really loved the colors. I wanted to do a lot of florals, but I wanted to also get a sense of pattern scale and what colors are going to look like in what rooms, how it's going to look with the woodwork, and then am I going to want to go with something more historic versus something more contemporary. I'm undecided, so I just got a bunch of stuff and I'm excited to hang it all up and see what I'm gonna like. Okay, so it's week 4. As you saw, the biggest thing this week is kind of a surprise actually. I wasn't sure when these wallpaper samples were going to come in because I ordered them, then I heard nothing, and then they showed up. So this week is all about wallpaper, but I also wanted to talk about a few other big things that are going on at the Rectory this week. I keep calling it a rectory, but as I meet more and more neighbors, they remember this place as a convent. So maybe I should just start calling it the convent. In its history, its most recent history, it's been a single family home for a number of years, from about the late 1930s to the late 1960s. It was a convent for sisters that taught at the Catholic school that used to be the church, the original church that was built on the corner of the lot that the rectory sits on today. Not a lot is going on for week 4. In fact, week 4 feels like it's a little bit more backwards moving than forwards moving. I talked about there being I'm planning a kitchen renovation for this space, and unfortunately, the kitchen renovation that's going to be happening is happening in Chicago in my bungalow. One of the big decisions we need to make is how much of a kitchen renovation we are willing to invest in up there in order to either rent the property or sell the property, which means the kitchen renovation here is on pause. So the wallpaper this week was a really nice diversion because while I am in no way prepared to install wallpaper on any of these walls, there's too much plaster remediation that needs to take place first. I'm aware that this project is a marathon and not a sprint, so with supply chain issues, you never know when you're going to need to start preparing for the end phase of a project, which would be the decoration. So what I did to kind of make myself feel better is order a bunch of wallpaper samples so I can kind of start to think about what furniture I need to find and source, what colors the rooms are going to be, and how those rooms are going to play with each other. So if you're in the entryway, you have a view into 2 living spaces essentially. How are all of those wallpapers and wall coverings or paint colors going to work together with the woodwork to create a beautiful, cohesive space that is comfortable to live in and doesn't feel claustrophobic? So that's kind of where my mindset is right now with the wallpaper. It's a fun diversion because things aren't going exactly how I want them to go right now, but there's still so much work to be done in other rooms. And if you follow me on Instagram at all, I do ask a lot of questions and take a lot of polls, and you kind of get some more behind the scenes looks at projects and things like that. So I sort of asked my mutuals on Instagram, what room, if I can't do the kitchen, what room should I focus on next? And I gave two options: the upstairs bedroom, which will eventually become the primary bedroom, at least for now, or the butler's pantry. And most everybody voted for the butler's pantry. So really kind of the biggest thing that needs to happen in the butler's pantry is it needs to be cleaned. And I need to remove a drop ceiling, which, fingers crossed, I don't find any plumbing running through there. But if I do, if I need to put a drop ceiling back in to cover up some plumbing, I am pretty confident that I can come up with something much more attractive than the 90s era conference ceiling. It's kind of jazzy, kind of hospital-y, and 100% ugly. So I am very confident that if I do need to put a drop ceiling back in, that I can put in something much more attractive and much more period appropriate for the house. So in addition to the work going on inside the house, guess what finally arrived? Drum roll, please. My roses. Do I have a place to put them? Kind of. I did plant two. I planted two of the climbing roses. These roses are from Heirloom Roses. It's my first time buying from them. I planted one on each side of the entryway to the house because I thought that would be really beautiful to have them sort of grow up over the sort of like in an arch maybe around the front of the house. We'll see how it goes. Gutters are scheduled. If the tree guy ever shows up, that would be awesome, so I can know and understand what these trees are and then get some of them taken out. Additionally, I'm trying to get in touch with the contractors to get bids on rebuilding my back steps so that when you get to the house and you're unloading groceries, you can unload them right into the kitchen as opposed to having to walk through the house and around to drop the groceries off in the kitchen. So I have a number of, I guess, pieces in play right now. Still, I think I'm doing pretty good for 4 weeks in. I think once that first project just sort of comes together, it'll be a snowball effect and I'll just build a lot of momentum and keep going. Aside from some of the smaller cosmetic update projects like the back porch refresh and things like that, I don't really consider that like a project. It's more of just giving yourself a quick, easy win so you can enjoy a space in the house, which is something that I really learned working on my last house. I think that's it for the week 4 update. Again, I'm Tracy. I live in a historic rectory and convent here in Quincy, and I've lived here for 4 weeks, roughly 4 weeks. If you ever have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. If you do want a little bit more behind the scenes, find me on Instagram, follow me there, and I hope to see you all next week. Thanks.